You can hear me?
Wolverine. Wolverine. Pull up a chair. This is Fluxtaposed, episode 231, recorded on October 2nd, 2018. On the docket today, IRL, Netflixation of Mary and the Witch's Flower. Get caught up on what you plan, featuring Debris Infinity and Eden Lake. Finally, you probably don't want to swim there. Finally, we're going to close out the show with the community grab bag and that sweet, sweet, awkward finish. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And as always, enjoy the show. Welcome back to another episode of Fluxtaposed. I am Jason Lacey, joined by Mr. Lucas Rose, and I gotta tell you, doing things without the music, without those cues, it feels really weird. I'm like in a vacuum. I feel like I'm in that in the vacuum in Dead Space where all the sounds, like, everything's muted out, and I'm out here by myself. I don't know what's going on, man. It's a scary place to be.
I blame Discord.
It's a scary place to be. I really do. I do too. But that's neither here nor there. Guys, we've had some fun, as usual, per doing this podcast for as many years as we had with weird setup. But let's not bring it down with that nonsense. It's Tuesday. It's Fluxtaposed Day. We hope you're doing well. Hope you're listening to this and having a great day. And maybe if you're not having a great day, maybe this will help bring you up to those, I say, attainable levels that we really hope that you hit and benchmark. It's been another week in the land. We're here to break it down, recap it, and as we always like to say, pull up a chair because it's time to have a drink with the Flux Boys, chill out, and have a good time as we take you on a podcast journey. Lucas, are you ready?
I was born ready.
How is Bonesaw? Is Bonesaw ready?
Bonesaw is ready. That's what I needed. Thank you for that.
No problem. Funny fact, guys, this just kind of happened. I randomly saw on Facebook Memories 1 year ago today. We very scaredly and with much anxiety pushed the launch button on the old Patreon. So we've officially been on Patreon. The Fluxtaposed Patreon campaign has been going for a year. Thank you to everyone that has been a past supporter or has continued to support or has came on during the journey. We appreciate it. You guys, if you want to check it out, please, patreon.com/Fluxtaposed. We're shooting for that $90 goal. You get that Fluxtaposed AMA on the way to that $100 goal where we can do the giveaways every month, which we really want to do for all of you awesome people. And hey, if you're watching live, you found us here. We are now on twitch.tv/Fluxtaposed, no longer live streaming the show on YouTube. So make sure you come hang out with us here on Twitch, and you'll get all the great episode goodness. And of course, you can catch the archive. We're still going to do the archive for YouTube. And hey, also on Twitch, we're trying to get to 50 followers. So even if you don't even have any intention of watching a live show, just follow us anyway, please. Please follow us anyway, because it'll help us. You don't have to watch the live show. It still helps us.
Then turn off your notifications for us.
Yeah, and then turn them off, and then you'll never be bothered by it. And I have to say that we have a schedule. We are trying to bring a little more regular content in this Twitch streaming department. Currently, our goal is to have a Monday night stream, which will be gaming with me, Mr. Jason. Tuesday, it will still be the podcast. Thursday, gaming with Mr. Rose.
That's me, for those who don't know what my last name is.
Right. Those are our 3 set days, and then there'll probably be a couple random streams throughout, sprinkle in there. But those will be the ones that, you will not miss. Cigar Zombies in the chat. What's up, bub? What is up? I hope you're... Well, hey, I know your travels are going well, but I hope they still do. So that's what we're trying to do here on Twitch. And, I've been previously streaming under my own channel, Fluxay. and Lucas would stream on YouTube, and YouTube's just kind of clunky, like we said before. And now we're trying to unify everything. It just doesn't make sense for me to try to be building a channel here, streaming there. We can just consolidate our efforts, and really just push out under Fluxtaposed. So
All
please,
those things.
twitch.tv/Fluxtaposed. That's the
Yes.
thing. That's the thing. You do it. Let's talk some IRL. We got some show to roll into. We got a late start tonight because of the nonsense, but we already were going to have a late start anyway. Lucas had a little had to postpone the show by half an hour, and I was like, hey, I'm going to stream Mega Man 11, so you can catch that archive a little bit. What's been going on, Lucas? I don't really have anything notable I need to share this week, I don't think so.
I don't really have anything notable either, but I did you know how I talked about last week how I was getting into that investment app, and I was like, I'll put in like $5 or $10.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a millionaire now.
What?
Boom.
So that means we can close down the Patreon and I can quit my job?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, you have to come live with me, and we'll live in a big, like, I don't know, 5-bedroom house. That's big, right? That's considered a big house.
This idea excites me. Yes.
I can tell.
I can get beyond this. I can get behind this idea. Please.
I like it.
Let me do this.
Well, here's the story from A to Z. You got to get with me and listen carefully. So I just happened to like look into it again because I just kind of did some, I don't know. There's this thing called day trading, I guess, where you buy low and sell high.
That's what we do every day at my job, day trading.
Really?
Technically. I mean,
and so I was, yes.
Not stocks or savings.
Oh yeah, I guess.
Like that,
yeah, I guess you're
just the nature of our business is day trading.
That's true. I mean, prices go up and down for your.
There's a market
and stuff.
Ebbs and flows. Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah. Well, then you'd probably be good at this. So I just well, you have to you have to stare at your phone. That's the only problem. So
pretend I'm on the pooper. Got it.
Yeah, exactly. So I was looking at the live chat in here, and for some reason, when you look at like Bitcoin, for instance, when you're watching the live ebb and flow, as you put it, for some reason they have a chat in those specific cryptocurrencies. I don't know why, but they do.
That'd be kind of annoying.
Well, it's only at the bottom. You can full screen it, but it's kind of like what was that dumb game show quiz thing that you played at like 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock or something like that?
Oh, HQ Trivia.
Yes. It's kind of like that chat.
That was fun until I realized I'm dumb.
Yeah, until
I think I got, well, the third question was always about 80% of the time. I think I got to the fourth question once.
Ooh.
And then I got to the fifth question one other time, simply because I think you had signed up and I got that extra life from you signing up off my referral code.
Well, I was trying to get you all the way, but apparently...
Hey, fun fact, Skinny Matt, he did it one time.
Really? Did he win $20?
I think it was like 10 or something.
Oh my gosh.
But then you can't cash out until you get 20 or whatever it is.
Yeah. So it was just like, I won nothing. Cool. So anyways, it's kind of like that chat where it just kind of goes and goes and you kind of ignore it. But I was looking
like popular Twitch chat.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah. We wouldn't know about that. So I was looking at it just because it was, and people will usually message about what stocks are going up and like what to buy because there's a lot of eyes on all these different stocks. And so they were talking about this OGen, I think is what it was, OGN. And it is Oragenics Incorporated is a biopharmaceutical, big surprise, company which focuses on the development of novel antibiotics and treatments against infectious diseases and oral mucositis.
Mucositis.
Yeah, sounds good. So anyway, they were talking about this, and I was like, all right, I'll throw in a couple shekels. I bought 2 shares at $1.57 a piece, and I held on to them. And today I sold them for $2.86 a piece. Jason,
What?
Wolf of Wall Street. I made $1 or something.
So are you like rubbing the dollars all over your body?
No, I reinvested them. I have no. It's all liquid. It was what they call liquid assets. No, it's all stocks. So I found the next thing. I was like, all right, I earned like $5 off this trade. Let's go find the penny stocks and invest a shitload.
Yes. I'll do a little chair dance for you for that.
That's why I reinvested it, Tom Servo, because I didn't pay out. So there's no taxes. Well, I guess there'll be taxes when I report to the IRS.
You're going to get this down with your own money, and then I'm going to open up the gates on the show money. I'll be like, hey, reinvest the show. Let's make this roll. Let's snowball
diversify
this
our
into an
portfolio. All I know is always invest in gold. That's a safe bet. Boom.
Yes.
Tips.
Yes.
It's a bear
the
market.
gold values. Yeah.
So
do it.
That's my
do
story.
it live.
So now I bought 20 shares of something called MNGA, manga. They draw manga, and it's looking good.
I have to read it backwards.
It's true. I sold that other stock too early. I could have made more, but Ogen's gonna hit big, or not Ogen, manga. Manga's gonna hit big, Jason. I got plus something. I bought it at 27 cents and it's sitting at 43 right now. Boom. That's McDonald's money. Bye.
Are you going to keep like a running total of your profits and see what you
Yeah, I think this kind of does that, or at least I can go back and look at my history so that I can figure it out. So I will definitely check out and see how I'm doing. But it's horrible because I caught myself watching
Let's face it. You're gonna have you're gonna be up like $50. I'm like, new Switch game's out.
Spend it all.
Done.
I like it.
Well, time to put that away.
I'm gonna save up and do this on the penny stocks until I can buy one Apple stock, and then that'll take the rest of my money, and I will have one Apple stock, and I will cash out.
Tom, I've been telling Lucas, you're the crypto whisperer. I was like, you need to just listen to Servo. He'll steer you
I have Ethereum
in the right direction.
The other cryptocurrency. I don't understand how is crypto worth money? I don't understand. But anyways,
because to some nerd in a basement somewhere it holds value, and and it spreads. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't understand how it has value. I understand why it's valuable because it's hard to get, but why does it at least money?
You just need to make sure
gold.
No one else starts asking that question until after you've sold it for money.
It's true. Don't ask why this is valuable. Just buy it.
For those listening at home, Tom, because he's the man on the street, he knows what's up. He says if you want to know, he'll explain it to you some other time. So
okay, I will hit you
perfect time to hit us up in fluxtaposed.com/discord. You can join, and you can also go through Crypto 101 with Professor Tom Servo. He may look like a talking gumball machine, but he's really a super smart robot.
Super smart. I like it. And that's
Torgo will be there as well, I promise.
I still need to watch that. Speaking of which, that's an aside for just you and me. What was that streaming on? Was that Netflix or?
That was on. If you want the Rift Tracks version,
yes.
It is on Amazon Prime.
Okay, that's all I need to
know.
Now
You can also access the plain version of the movie, but it was strongly recommended to not do that.
Yeah, well, I was in a mood to watch it, and then I didn't want to go looking for it. So
most fun I had in a while watching stuff was watching that. Is really good.
Very good. Very good.
Torgo.
So I'm the Wolf of Wall Street, and that's all I got, really. Huh? Yeah, I mean, everything. It's been rainy and kind of shitty outside. If it's not raining, it's still wet. What's the deal with that? What's the deal? What's that?
This was like the first day in a week. I didn't feel like I had sinus drainage, so I'm coming up Millhouse today.
Drainage.
And I love it. All right, well, Sorry, Denny. You're probably not going to watch or listen to the show anymore at this point. So thank you for boycotting our podcast. We're done with Tap the Craft now because you fired the first
Yeah,
shot.
that's
So
true.
we're done. You and John can just go sit on it. Chris McKenzie, we're done. We're all done.
Are you
Not
saying?
really.
Are you saying it's time for Netflixation?
Yeah, it feels weird. We're just going to get into it, eh?
Hold on.
Huh?
You gotta let this roll for a while.
I'll pretend I hear it.
Oh, that's right.
Hey, there it is.
It wasn't because a knob I had turned down.
It must have been muted. Not by me.
It's Saturday Night Live.
Hey, did you guys know Lucas made that? He made that. That's all original.
Yeah, it sounds
Lucas.
like it. I used GarageBand, and then I never used it again because it ended up sounding like that. Oh, I did play the guitar. I actually am playing the boom, 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 even though it sounds like bass. Little bit. Anyways.
Little bit. Stop. Yeah. So we
Oh, boy.
Netflix Nation, our poll went up, and this was the winner somehow.
I won.
Actually, not somehow. I mean, I'm not gonna crap on this.
It's an internet darling.
That's right. Mary and the it does say Mary's. Mary and the Witch's Flower.
Mary's and the Witch's Flower.
You know I'm gonna read what's ever on the teleprompter.
That's true.
So Lucas, this was your
win.
pick. Tell us the synopsis. What were we getting into?
I wrote this. So you know it's going to be bad. All right, we boot up the film and we see colorful verdant fields of green and blue. And we meet our protagonist, Mary, a frizzy redheaded girl who tries her best to help her great aunt. I think it was great aunt. I don't think it was just aunt. And the various people who help around the house. But for the most part, she's klutz, who's not particularly good at anything. One day, while walking in the forest, a pair of strange cats lead her to what we later learn is the witch's flower. She also finds a magic broom, which...
Is that a euphemism?
I think it is now. It's probably a name of a drug, I would imagine. Yo, man, you gotta take some of this witch's flower, bruh. It's off the chain. And that magic broom whisks her away, and her cat, too. Endor University, where there are Ewoks, and
can we just hold on a second? I had made a note. Endor University. Well, I mean,
yeah, it
and there's that whole scene
weird.
when she's flying on the broom, and it looks kind of like Endor with the speeder bike shots. Yeah.
If it was, I mean, Endor, like, that's a name that's not that common, I don't think. So it's kind of weird. I wonder if it's one of those things where they're like, yeah, Endor. Like the writer was like, Endor sounds like a good name. I wonder where I heard that from. It's probably nothing. It's probably a coincidence.
Simpsons.
Probably Simpsons did it first. Endor's a school, Endor University is a school for witches. At this school, she excels at her newfound but temporary powers given to her by the witch's flower. But when the professors learn she knows where the witch's flower can be found, they steal the flower from her so they can continue their ongoing experiments of binding the power of the flower with human beings. It's up to Mary to save her friend from a tragic fate and stop the professors before it's too late. I didn't realize that rhymed, but apparently I soused the shit out of that.
Well, not only did you have power of the flower, and then
that one was purposeful, though.
Stop the fate and stop the professors before it's too late. So there we go. That's our synopsis of Mary and the Witch's Flower. Thanks for listening to Netflixation. We'll be back next week. See you guys. Good night.
Yep. Bye.
Okay, no.
That's all. That's all, folks. So
I mean, this was some offshoot staff members that had previously worked with like Studio Ghibli, right? They were previous staffers from Ghibli that I think that branched out on their own. I feel like I read that somewhere. I might just be making that up, and
I think it's canon now. So, I think it's Cameron. I think it's Cameron.
Yeah, Cameron Diaz. So there you go. Animated film, which we haven't done. We haven't had an animated film in a while. I think that our last animated was I don't even remember. Was it From Hell, the claymation thing I picked? I don't recall. It's been a while.
Gosh, I don't remember because, like you said, it's been a while since I could say that I watched an animated
No, no, I think
film.
I threw a lot of shade at this film when we first picked it up, and I think some of our listeners did as well. But yeah, you have to walk into these things without any, preconceived ideas, and you just kind of let it hit you at face value and take it for what it is. So we are going to talk about, as we always do in Netflixation, some bullet points to give you the overflow. And again, as always, spoilers, because we will talk some plot. So if you have any intention of ever watching this film, you probably should skip over this section. Come back in about 20 minutes or so, and then we'll be in the middle of an OC remix, and you'll be like, "Gah." So sorry. But what did this film do right? What did we like? Nothing. No, that's not true.
Those are the words on there.
The one thing I know I had a note of that I noticed right from the that first opening shot and the music, I was like, well, this is like Zelda.
Dude, okay, that's funny that you say that, because the whole time that I was watching this, I was thinking I would really love it if this studio did a Zelda anime or animated feature.
It did help, like the emphasis of the blue kind of reminds you of Breath of the Wild, and then the boy Peter, what's his name, Peter, I think.
Yes, it was Peter.
Like the one time he had the hood on and he had the blonde hair poking out, and he looked a little bit like Link. Just Jason. I say that, but
Peter. Hey, Peter.
You're getting there. You're getting there.
Peter. Well, excuse me, princess.
Side note, when was that? It was after a show, and we spent probably like 10 minutes both trying just back and forth trying to do.
You were like, voice. I need to go now. Why am I up at 1 o'clock going, Peter? Hey, Peter.
You need a little more bass in there.
I can't do it. I'm all about the bass, no treble. But I only got what God gave me until cybernetic implants happen.
Then just do the all right scream thing he does.
Okay, yeah.
When I do it, it just slowly turns into Snake from The Simpsons. So.
Oh God, that's right. I thought they were talking about Snake from Metal Gear Solid, so it got all confusing. Anyway,
so back to my point. The intro, the music reminded me of Zelda. The way that it opening, not like the intro, not the first scene, but that first when it introduces Mary, and it's like the shot out her window.
Yeah,
you see, like the rolling hills and stuff.
Well, even the music was pretty some of the pluckier stuff that you hear at the beginning, especially, was very similar.
Yeah, and that's the point I want to make. I really liked a lot of the musical themes they had going throughout there. I thought the music was really good, and it really watching this kind of reminded me of, as it probably rightfully should, like the classic era of the Japanese RPG. Just the way the story set up and the character. I'm like, I feel like I'm in an RPG a little bit.
Yeah,
and I think that's just to go from the studio.
Chrono Trigger or anything like that feels like it would be right at home in this art style and film style, I guess, if you want to say it that way.
But my quick bullet points, I know they're the music. I thought the sound effects were really nicely done, especially I really noticed it with the bicycle, like the creaking of the bike and the kickstand, and when he would put his foot down. I thought the sound effects was nicely done, and I liked. I did like the animation. What I really liked what they did with colors to showcase the magic. They just stood out. They just stood out nice because while the animation isn't dull, but it's more of a subdued palette overall. And then the magic just kind of has a little more pop because it's layered over top and it's a little more sharper in its color. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's almost like neon blue instead of just blue.
Right. Because if you watch this film, you wouldn't really know that this was released in 2017. It we talked about this. It looks very much similar to what you've seen from, again, to say Studio Ghibli from what was it, the 90s or even before, with My Neighbor Totoro or
Princess Mononoke. I think is pretty old.
So it looks very similar to that. I think that's because it's traditional, their traditional animation style. It's not really enhanced by computer graphics or touched up or taking shortcuts.
There's nothing I can't stand more than, well, there's probably something, but 3D to look animated. I hate that look. I don't it's like a shortcut that they do, but I think it looks terrible.
For example, compare this to watching Voltron on
Yeah,
Netflix than a
that's
series. So
true.
like that's like you want a big contrast of what styles there.
Well, because a lot of the effects there too are computer generated as opposed to
Right.
actually drawn, and I think these are at least painted or drawn or whatever, or
It
at
looks
least
like
made to
they're
look
all
that way.
yeah.
Yeah, and the thing about the color is it is a colorful movie. It's very vibrant, but it's kind of flat, and I think that's why the magic stands out because
Yeah.
everything is just bright, so there's no contrast really to the movie. So when you see the coloring of especially the way that it throws light in the darkness in some of those darker
Mm,
scenes and they cast
yeah.
magic, it really stands out when that is happening. So I
I
the
thought I thought the voice acting was
yeah,
pretty good overall too.
especially Mary, and the male professor was oh gosh, what's his name?
I didn't look up at any of the cast, so I
I
didn't think
only
to check that.
have oh here's the American cast. I swear Jim Broadbent,
Doc,
Broadbent,
Dr. D.
Dr. D, not to be
Who's Jim
confused
Broadbent?
with Vampire Hunter D. He is the guy from like Moulin Rouge. He plays the if you've seen that, he's in that
Broadbent.
Broadbent. Yeah, you'd know him if
Oh
you
yeah,
saw
yeah.
him. Yeah, he's
The
one of
bad
those
guy
guys.
from one of the bad guys from Hot Fuzz.
Ah, yes.
Spoiler.
Whoa! How dare
Okay.
you? How dare you? Um, and actually, I thought it's funny that you had that note about the sound effects because I also thought they were good. They had a weird way of standing out. They weren't
Yeah.
the sound effects themselves weren't particularly notable. Like we're not talking about Star Wars here, where nothing sounds like anything else. You know what I mean? Like it's all like a crazy soundscape that you've never heard before. But the way that it was implemented to me sounded I was only listening in stereo and I could still get a good sense of like left and right. You know what I mean? Something came from
Yeah.
behind and right to the front left of the screen and I could hear the separation, which sometimes gets lost, especially in noisier films where there's a lot of stuff going on. So they kind of just cut through, and you really noticed them when they did when something would come on screen and make some sort of noise like the bike or the magic or
Yeah.
whatever. Do you have anything else that you liked?
No, I think that covered like the thing. I actually like took the time to make notes of it. So, it was actually looks like the actress that did Mary is Ruby Barnhill, who was born in 2004.
Mm,
So
that's when I
a younger voice
graduated.
actor. So yeah, so that kind of
That helps
makes
because
sense.
whenever they try to get an older person to do a younger
Yeah.
person's voice, oh, she's the girl from the BFG.
Yep.
I thought she looked
Kate
familiar.
Kate Winslet did a voice. Ewan Bremer, who played the dude at the school, the broom guy.
Flanagan or whatever.
Flanagan, you recognize him. I can't tell. He's in Train Spotting and quite a few other things. You would recognize him if you saw a picture of him. And then I recognize a couple of the other voice actors as well. But
So pretty good
that's
cast
neither.
then.
Yeah, decent cast. So I think again that's probably why we made a note that hey, this doesn't sound horrible. So
Yes, that's true. The only other positive I can say is one of the reasons why I picked the movie was because there's something really imaginative about these films, very wondrous, and a lot of the time you see stuff you've never, especially in our culture because these originate from Japan typically. There's a lot of different visuals, different monsters and creatures that we're not used to seeing here that I was hoping for in this movie. Even the way that like the fields and the forest are portrayed and drawn, they feel very mystical and grand and sort of
yeah,
I don't know, a little larger than life, even though the rest of it doesn't really seem that way. And that's kind of what I was hoping for. And
yeah.
you know,
It wasn't based on a book either, at least to my knowledge. So
it
that's
was
always a fresh.
actually it was.
Oh, never mind. I was like,
I
oh, so
think
that was
it's
going to be a fresh take, but nope,
the
never mind.
the little broomstick. I think is what it was called, something like that. But I think it was an
Silver
American
button.
author, weirdly
Okay.
enough. Um, so yeah, I was hoping for that imaginative and just like colorful and whisk me away to another place type feeling. And
A
I think
feel
this
good experience to escape our droll and dreary American
dull
existence.
brown and gray lives. All right, now let's shit all over it.
Okay.
Where did it go wrong? What didn't we like and how could it be fixed? I just want to talk about two things, Jason.
Okay.
I need to talk about them. Number one, and maybe this was the first reason why I want to talk about this is because maybe I missed this. But why did the two cats, because there were two of them, there was the black and the
Yeah.
gray, why did they lead her to the witch's flower if they acted like they didn't want her to have the witch's flower? Because when they got there, they hissed at it and like acted like she shouldn't take it. Now,
Yeah, that's a good question.
to my
I'm not.
knowledge, the gray cat wasn't already taken yet.
No, Liam Neeson didn't show up yet.
Well, he didn't do the kidnapping, so he's the bad guy. All of Turkey or Bolivia or wherever they were.
Right.
So that was kind of like a wait a minute. If they don't want, if these cats don't want her to have it, then why did they lead her directly to the witch's flower and the broom? I don't understand why that happened. And then the other thing is, one of the biggest things I think is, well, here, let me get to my other point, actually. The broom stable master guy.
Flanagan.
He just shows up whenever they literally say, I wish there was a way to get out of here. I wish we had a way to escape. And then Flanagan shows up like 3 different times.
Oh, you need to be flying on my broom.
Yeah. You need to keep better track of your broom. It's like, yeah, they set it up that he does that, and it's kind of a joke, but it's just like, that's lazy writing, especially to have it happen 3 times. I'll forgive it at first, but when it comes down to like, it almost made it so that one of the big things I felt was like there were no stakes in this movie. Nobody felt like they were in danger except for the one kid, and even that didn't really feel dangerous because I don't know, it just didn't feel like, I don't need people to die or anything. It's just I don't feel like there was anything that big of a deal. She doesn't even like Peter that much, so I didn't really feel like there was that sense of danger going on during this movie. I have one other point, but I'm going to leave that actually to our final thoughts, I think.
Okay. I mean, I would definitely agree with those. I mean, you bringing them up, I think those are perfectly good points to make. And I think we talked about it in the chat a little bit beforehand. I don't know if it so much for me, like the first, it dragged a little too much. Like what I didn't like is like, you get this introduction with this action sequence and then the crashing of this broom, but then we don't see anything that like, we don't know like what happens to that witch, and it just, that whole story cuts off and it doesn't tell you how much time passed or anything. So I would assume, did she die? What happened? So it was just kind of abrupt transition. And then, it does like linger a little bit here, but I think it takes so much time to like introduce you to Mary, have her discover the college, learn magic, all this thing, and set up all this stuff. And then it's like, okay, then these are the bad people, possibly. And then it's like, okay, now it's the last couple acts. We got to rush it. It just the pacing, I think.
Yeah,
so,
it was a little front loaded with like she goes out to the garden and tries to help there. And it does feel like they were trying to get the point across that she doesn't really fit in anywhere. But I think they kind of went overboard with that because it does drag for those first 20 or 30 minutes.
For a while I was like, well, what's going to be what is she going to have to overcome in this? Where's this story going? And then finally now we have an antagonist for our protagonist to overcome. And then it was like, oh, now she's going to do that. Oh, now she's down and out, and now she rises up and down, and then it's done.
It feels like the whole theme of the movie was like she ends up saying, I don't need magic. After today, I'm never going to use magic again, or I don't need to use magic. But I never felt like she ever struggled with the idea that magic made anything better or made it easier or anything. She never really was.
She never had any exposure to it.
Yeah.
I feel like
she went invisible the one time, and basically when she went through the school, that was her biggest exposure to it. And it was never like luring
it's not
her.
It's not like she ever tried to use magic and prior to that, because she had no way to until she got the flower.
Right.
So I mean that, and I just like, it was weird because even like at the end, like who we thought was possibly the I'm going to say the bad guys they're not the bad guys again. It was kind of it was kind of weird. And then I thought the ending itself too was just really abrupt and just like I didn't really didn't feel clear to me. Like, okay, does she what is her where's her journey? You know, what's going on? And then like I kind of was interested to see like what to do with her, what her parents are going to be like if they were ever going to be introduced and they weren't. And I am glad that it didn't take like the route like, well, guess what? She can really use magic after all. She doesn't
Yeah.
need the flower. You know, it didn't do that sort of cliche thing. But for a while there, I was like, well, this is they got people can't like her because they didn't like Ray because she was a Mary Sue, and now we've got Mary that can do all the best magic, all the first time, every time, you know, stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, it was all kind of a little too convenient. But I don't know. It yeah, I think like a point I think that you're gonna make in your final thoughts, I think kind of really coincides well with all this. But even with all of that, I mean, I still was able to watch it, you know. I didn't turn it
Yeah.
off. I didn't hate it, you know.
Yeah.
And
Especially as,
I don't watch a whole lot of Japanese animation anymore. I mean, I went through a phase where I was big into it and I thought but I haven't watched hardly any of the Ghibli stuff, you know. I've seen Totoro because my brothers had it, but I've never seen did they do I've never seen Spirited Away, I've never seen Princess Mononoke, I've never seen Howl's Moving Castle, I've never seen,
see, and
you know.
that's a good example. Like Spirited Away to me is similar. And well, my last point, I guess, getting into our final thoughts and stuff is, to me, this was a little bit similar to other movies and ones that have done it better. As far as like the feeling you get, the story that's being told, the theme, like the overall general idea of a young girl or a young child or, you know, younger person who goes into this magical world and has to fight off some bad people and then comes back and really just kind of learns the lesson that magic is bad or whatever, or like there's this wondrous world, but I don't want to be a part of it. I feel like that's been told better elsewhere in other movies. And Spirited Away is a good example for one reason, because there's actual stakes there. She wants to save her parents is part of that. They get changed by magic into animals and they're forced to basically eat. They turn into like a pigs, I think, because they go to this place where they're not supposed to touch anything and they try to eat the food. And so they're cursed. So at least there you kind of feel like there's actually stakes, like things need to be done because people are in
Yeah.
danger that this character loves. And so overall for me, I just kind of feel like it didn't do anything new to make me enjoy this. Like you said,
Yeah.
I watched it. It was okay. And that was that. And it kind of just was what it was. So is for me thinking about it, I would say like for kids, you know, it's like 6 to 12, maybe 14, they might enjoy this and not have to think so deeply about it and just be able to watch it and go, okay, that
Yeah.
was an adventure or whatever.
Right, right.
But other than that, like, it just didn't do a whole lot for me, I guess.
Yeah. I think I feel the same way. Like I didn't dislike it, but I don't think I'm the target audience for this. So unless you're like really into like I think that style of animation or, you know, those films in general, I don't think it's gonna resonate. I shouldn't say resonate. I don't think it's gonna be something that you're gonna be entertained by. You know, I
Yeah, I don't
just
think it'll change your mind. I would not point
yeah.
this to anybody who's never seen that type of Studio Ghibli movie before. This is not a place to start at.
Yeah. And can I ask you, since you brought up the word pig, can we talk about when they showed the scene from the cafeteria? There was like he was looked human, but he had like a pig snout, and he was like roasting a pig on a spigot, and I'm like, what is going on? It's like cannibalism
That's
right in front of me.
horrible. I didn't see
Yeah.
that. I wonder if that was one of those experiments that actually worked, but then at the
Then
same
there's like
time,
that
maybe not.
armadillo like guy was like slicing meat off too. I was like, man, why are they all the animals butchering other animals? This is messed up.
I wanted to see more of that. The most interesting part was when they were in the university. Everything else was just kind of meh.
Those poor magical experiments. It was like the fly all over again. Like
Yeah.
when the dog gets mixed, the dog gets put that back together
And
like
then they
wrong.
and then they come back and like help because apparently they're sort of sentient and
Don't mess with that monkey.
I don't know. Yeah, the monkey, the red-haired monkey.
Well, do
Um,
we recommend this?
I'm gonna let you go first.
I think it has to be with a caveat. I think I recommend it for. I don't think too young a kids. I think might be a little like disturbed or creeped
Yeah,
out from
yeah, I
the
agree.
like the animals, like that whole stuff, like the weird combinations they have. So I think slightly. I think. Yeah, maybe probably that 6 to 12 range. I think, like you had pointed out, is probably a good thing. So I think it's a good. I think it could be a good family film. So I think in that sense, I recommend it. It's not. There's not like violence
Mm-hmm.
or anything there. So I think it's good for a mixed age group. But I mean, in terms of like our viewers, no, I can't. I won't recommend it to you.
Yeah.
If you have kids, yes, but like you guys that turn into Fluxtaposed for our deep cuts and our lewd and crude and with their bad attitudes. No.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that I don't recommend it. Really, like I said, or like you said, good for kids, but of a certain age. But for the most part, there are better options. So even for a family viewing, I would say try Spirited Away or something like that, where to me the story is just better. Um,
Yeah.
so I can't say I'll recommend it at all.
Ugh.
Ugh. Ugh. That's
Ricka.
what I thought. So that's Mary and the Witch's Flower. Kind of a, you know, just sort of a, I don't know, kind of a I want to say disappointment, but I guess I don't know what I expected. So to a certain
Yeah.
degree, it just kind of it does, what those movies do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
I
it
think
doesn't
Tom brings up a good
reinvent.
point. Compared to other animated options on Netflix, if you're combined just to Netflix, it's it has a more. I think this one, like, it's not your typical like completely targeted young kids, so it's like completely a turn off to an adult.
Yeah.
There's definitely a middle ground there. Yeah, good point, Tom.
It's not so terrible that I couldn't recommend it. I just am not recommending it in lieu of finding something better. But if you were to just go on Netflix, yeah, there are worse options for sure.
Oh yeah.
Uh, so yeah, yeah, that's a tough one.
All right.
I'm gonna
Well,
stick with it. I don't recommend it.
yeah. All right.
A lot
I
of
think
people
that's
found
fair.
it. I know some of the people who tried watching it said that it was boring for them in the first few minutes or whatever, for the
Hmm.
first like 20 minutes. So I can't imagine that anything that happens after that would change their mind. I guess is kind of where I'm coming from. So I get
Yeah.
just to explain that a little bit more, I suppose. So yeah,
Okay.
unfortunate, but such is life, Jason. Such is
That
life.
is.
And I'm
That
never
is.
using magic again. That's what I learned.
Well, we will be back next week to bring two selections for you to vote on yet again. And then we'll have, again, like as we always are scheduled, the next Netflixation will be the first episode in November. So we'll have two movies, put it out on Twitter, you guys vote, and then we'll get a winner and we'll watch it. So
I like it.
you like it.
I like it a lot.
Lucas, we
Yeah.
had a Overclock remix selected by
Yep.
Mr. Dan Anthony
That's what I'm doing right now.
last week that we couldn't get to, and because Dan is a great guy, I
He's the
actually
best.
I need to find it on OC Remix so I can talk a little more about it because I only have the YouTube link, and that won't do us justice. So luckily they got the episode descriptions there inside of YouTube. And Tom Sorrell says that movie made his kid STFU for 30 minutes when they watched it, and she didn't get bored. So that's
That's
a good
good. That's
sign.
good.
We have real results from the field.
We're the wrong demo. That's the problem.
So Dan, thank you again, Dan, for having us do the musical episode last week. I don't know if it's gotten rave reviews, but hey, Adam Leonard enjoyed it, and if Adam Leonard enjoys something, that's pretty fucking good. Because
Whoa.
the guy's kind of a sourpuss and hates everything. So
It's true.
he could just be making fun of us, and I just haven't caught on to it yet. But Dan had wanted us to pick he had suggested a remix from Mega Man 3 was his jam. It's called Snake Buster. Mega Man 3 was released by Capcom in 1990 on the NES. There's two songs from the game: the ending and Steak. How about Snake?
Steak
How
man.
about Snake Man stage? And it's a good one. If Kala was here, he'd be rocking out because it's a rocking remix. I listened to it the other day. I was like, "Yep, This is one of those good ones.
He ain't gonna like it.
You'll like it. So we're gonna play this remix. As always, you can find this and many more at ocremix.org. We're gonna play that now. Take a little breather. Stick around though. We'll be back with some What You Plan, a little grab bag, and then we'll get out of here. So here we go. I liked it. Did you like it?
I did like it.
That I ranked that one right up there with. It's probably it's what I really want to put on my ringtone as my phone is that one. I remember the name of the band, but they did that really sweet rock the metal like cover of the intro for Mega Man 3.
Oh yeah,
We've played it on here before because it's on Spotify. I can't remember. 20XX is the name of the band.
Yes.
That's I like that.
They did some Contra stuff, I think, too.
Yeah, I believe right. But now, Lucas,
yeah,
some What You Plan? Wow, speaking of Contra, look at that. How on point was that?
I pressed it and then I was like, oh, I just turned the phone down the audio for the thing. So I was like, press it. Oh crap! I need to turn up the volume. Anyways, mine's gonna be quick, dude. Mine's gonna be
Ooh,
real quick. I'll tell you
okay.
why.
Good,
Because
because it's gonna be creepy.
number one, number one, Xenoblades 2, more Xenoblades. Like, whatever. I can't really say much more about it that hasn't been said except for it's freaking
Go
long.
back, go and listen to the PSVG Nintendo Shack and hear Johnny and
God.
Caro talk about it for 40
Yeah, I
minutes.
don't need to talk to you about it.
Well, I sit there and go,
What am I doing with my life? Are you getting a blowjob?
how do I get out of this podcast?
I will say this though, the library auto renewed it, so now I don't have to try and beat it so quickly. So that was nice. So now I'll actually probably beat it before I send it back instead of just return it with being halfway through. So anyways, yeah, more Xenoblades.
Hey, the library like forces you to like stay on task a little bit, you know? You gotta like, you know,
Yeah, that's true because you
nose
want
to the
to.
grindstone.
Yeah, exactly. Because you know you got to take it back. So you're like, I should just beat this so I don't have to worry about it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
The other
Exactly.
thing today I did was I actually went back and played Resident Evil and got back up to the place that I was, and then
I need to
saved
do
it.
that in Mega Man X.
Oh yeah,
Motherfucker.
because always remember, never forgotten. Yeah, well, at least I didn't delete my cloud save like you. I just got killed by a zombie when I was trying to. Well, I didn't even really need to kill that zombie. But I will say this: I did. I don't have it nearby me, but I did map out by hand the map, and any door as I was going around, any door that I ran into, I checked it to see what key it needed, and I wrote it down so I didn't have to keep checking doors to figure out which ones need what keys. And then I burned some bodies because that needed to happen because those effing red scarlets. Now I'll tell you, it didn't matter. They must start coming up on a timed basis or something because before they didn't show up for me the first time until after I grabbed the real key with the fake key.
I'm sure there's a trigger that they have.
Because on my way, on my way
yeah.
there, I was about to burn a body, and it got up and was like, "No, I'm gonna freaking wreck your face, man!" They attack so quickly.
I haven't played that version of the game since because I only played it was like one and done. You know, I played through it, and that was probably 2002, 2003. I don't even remember when it came out on GameCube.
I think 02. I think you're right.
So we're looking at 15, 16 years ago. So.
Well, it's been a trip so far, but I was like, I better get this done or else I won't be able to stream on Thursday. So I did that, and it actually took me like 10, 15 minutes. It probably took me longer to map out the area than it did to actually go and get all that stuff done. Because the amount of stuff I needed to actually do was not really that much, other than burning the bodies, which the canteen only holds basically enough fuel for 2 bodies, and I had to burn 5 of them, so that was a real pain in the ass. But I did it, and I have it saved so I can pick up where I left off from before. So other than that, I watched a movie called Eden Lake. It is a movie that I heard about from Jim Sterling's podcast, The Podquisition, with Laura Kate Dale and Gavin. I don't remember his last name. And
the lead singer from Bush?
No, he's the lead singer from Miracle of Sound. And so he had said that people... Yeah, you're wrong. You're so wrong. He had said that people were giving him suggestions about scary movies, and he was talking about how he didn't really like some of the ones that I like, for instance. But he was saying Eden Lake and this other one that I have coming were ones that actually were, I don't want to say scary, but gave him some chills, I suppose. So I was like, all right, let's figure this out. So I got them through Netflix DVD, and they only have them on DVD, not Blu-ray. So right there was my first, I was like, uh-oh, this ain't going to be good. So I got it anyways, though. And my God, have you watched a DVD lately? The quality is awful.
It's been a while. I mean, we still get Redbox every once in a while, so.
But you get a DVD?
Yeah, I'm still a peasant.
Ugh. peasant, you can get a Blu-ray player for like $70.
I've got a Blu-ray player. I just don't always. Sometimes I just want to pay the dollar for a DVD. I don't want to pay the
Okay,
$1.50 for Blu-ray.
that's
Yeah.
pretty bad. But to each their own. To each their own. Well, maybe it's because I'm playing it through my computer, but my God, it just does not look very good. Anyways, that's not the point. The point is that this randomly has Michael Fassbender in it, apparently, which was interesting. And it's about a couple who go to a.
Good thing he's not Michael Slowbender.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Working on your dad jokes. They go to a place called Eden Lake, and it's basically a gravel pit that's been filled in, and they're going to build homes all around this lakeshore property. And before that happens, he wants to take his girlfriend there for the last time before it's built into homes. And he plans on proposing to her, but instead, when they get there, there's a bunch of kids who are kind of messed up, like they torture animals and stuff like that. These kids mess around with them, like they steal their stuff, they steal their car, they they'll come up next to them on the beachfront and play loud music, and they won't turn it down, and they're just like little shits basically. Well, these little shits end up terrorizing the two main characters for a reason that happens early in the story, and after that it's basically them trying to escape the wrath of these teenagers. So it was actually pretty good. I wouldn't say it was scary. It was more of like a thriller because there aren't any jump scares really or anything like that, but it was good from the sense of like this could actually happen.
Right.
That type of horror. So it wasn't like my favorite. It didn't blow my socks off or anything, but it wasn't a waste of time. It was good. So I enjoyed that, Eden Lake. And lastly, I read another graphic novel called Day Tripper. And this was on a list of like the 100 most influential or best graphic novels to read or whatever.
Okay.
And so this was about... What's that?
I'm going to look that up right now.
Okay.
Speaking of which, I just found I was searching Eden Lake and I saw this excellent gif where she's covered in mud and she like turns around and stabs one of those kids in the neck.
Yeah. Yep. She's a teacher too, so that was actually a big character thing for her. So Day Tripper is about a guy who writes obituaries, but for the newspaper. But he always wanted to become a writer, a real writer, quote unquote, like his father. And it takes place in Brazil, I believe. And I can't remember exactly what happens. Oh, yeah, that's right. He dies, I believe, in the first chapter. But then after that, it relives his life and his memories. But in each memory, he dies in a different way. And not in like a Final Destination type of way. They don't even really show it or anything. They just talk about it. And at the end of every chapter, there's an obituary. And really, it's all these important parts of his life that have happened that had like an impact on who he was. And it kind of shows like how his life could have been if things happened differently, I guess. I don't know. It's really hard to describe.
Okay.
It was kind of hard for me to get through just because it was... I don't know. I didn't feel like there was a lot happening. It was very character driven, so it was kind of difficult to read through. But yeah. I'm kind of glad I did. I don't know if I could recommend it or not because it didn't end up being what I thought it was going to be. I'm not really sure what I expected, but it was different. It definitely wasn't, your typical graphic novel, but I don't know. It just seemed a little disjointed, and I don't know. There wasn't really anything pulling me in to actually finish it, but I did because it didn't take very long. But I appreciate the imaginative like artwork and that type of thing, and the storytelling and everything. It just wasn't really my thing, I guess. At the end of the day,
okay.
So
no, I can get that.
I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I couldn't really recommend it, but that's it. I read more Saga too, so that's
cool.
The other thing. I'm almost done with that actually. I read through the 2 big volumes. They're good. They're really good. I definitely would recommend it. So That's it.
I think I've got just volume 1 here. I'm pretty sure actually I do, and I'm waiting on. I've had a hold for Lumberjanes volume 2. I was just thinking about that. I was like, man, where? I I feel like I've had a hold for a couple of weeks now, so it must be some little shit taking their time with it, right?
Little bastard.
Um, all right, so let's see here. Yeah, place in queue. Still, I'm in first in the queue. I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, for myself, I did quite a bit. Since we're talking about comics, I read. I have the one that we both have. I can't remember the name of it right now.
Nimona.
Nimona, which because I was like, I looked at a list like essential graphic novels you should read, and that was on there. So I was
I
like,
wonder
cool,
if we looked at the same one.
probably. And then I got this other one that's I just read it too, and she really liked it. It's a collection of short stories called Through the Woods,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like more dark, macabre tales, like these miniature like horror stories. And probably looks like a pretty decently thick book, but I probably got through it in 25 minutes because they're just quick reads. But some more hits than misses, but it was still like I really enjoyed the author's work. So I would recommend that. That was showed up. That was on one of the lists of graphic novels you should read. So Through the Woods, I recommend that. And then we watched 2 movies. Suburbicon, which was directed by George Clooney, written by the Coen brothers, stars Matt Damon and what's her name? What's her name more?
Demi?
No, not Demi Moore. The one that was in the second Silence of the Lamb. She was in the other Silence of the
Julianne
Lamb
Moore?
movies. Julianne Moore, thank you. She's in it. Interesting because it's set in the 50s during that whole suburbia boom in the United States. And
Mm-hmm.
but this one's not. There's something going on below the surface here too, and it focuses on 2 families. Mainly one, the other one you just see, but the one is an African American family that's getting racial tension because they've moved into a white suburb. So there's that storyline, and then this other family, father and husband and wife, and the wife's sister lives there, and they have a young son as well. And then the wife ends up being murdered during a home invasion.
Ooh.
And then the story that kind of comes out with all that, which there's more going on here than it seems. But George Clooney made it. I think Jess looked it up. It talked about how he made it. It's like a kind of a social commentary about what's going on and wanted to show the contrast between the 2 families. And it was like much like when we watched Mother. It was like one of these movies that we thought we were watching something, but no, we were watching something completely different. So as you can expect with the Coens, a lot of like what the hell's going on kind of moments,
Mm-hmm.
But it was a good movie. I mean, the ending was interesting, and just the whole story was rather interesting. And then we watched Devil's Gate, which is on Hulu. IFC film. It's basically like, okay, Lucas, you see this car break down at what is basically the house from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake.
Okay.
It's like that same type of desolate farmhouse with all this stuff going on. It's got the guy from Heroes and This Is Us, Milo, whatever. He's like one of the main characters in there. So it was weird to see. Yeah, it's weird to see him in this type of role. But the whole thing is like there's been this mother and son have disappeared, so they bring in this FBI agent to help with investigation. Well, it comes out like they've disappeared, but then there's this other thing like those whole concept of fallen angels and demons and going on, and then
What the hell?
I can't really. I mean, it's weird. It's not great. It wasn't terrible. And like if you look up the movie, I think it's got like a 5 on IMDb, and Rotten Tomatoes, it's like a very much lower score because the plot really doesn't do anything, and there's which is true. It was something to watch. Nothing to write home about. We were hoping that was going to be kind of like a scary, like kind of crying, like a little thriller thing, and then it got a little more supernatural and sci-fi than we expected. And game-wise, Tecmo Bowl, still doing the PSVG tournament. I played my round 2 match last night against Daniel, and I feel sorry for the guy because I ran 2 kickoffs for touchdowns.
Oh,
because
God.
I was the Bears, and who did he play as? He played as Dallas, and his players would run into my blockers and just go flying. Like, you know, how sometimes you can hit a kicker. Like if
Yeah.
you're blocked by someone and someone else hits you and you go flying, his players would just run into my guys and go flying. So he didn't have a chance
Jeez.
because my guys would just be standing there and his players would run into him and they get bounced. So I had 2 kickoff returns just like that. But I love playing Tecmo Bowl. So, sorry, Daniel, but I did advance. So I will be in the semifinals against Donnie, and then I think you still have to play your match, and your
Yep.
opponents still have to play their match. So I love playing that game. I really hope we get Tecmo Super Bowl. I'm not going to wait around on it. And then Debris Infinity, which I didn't get to talk about last week. It's a very much a Geometry Wars clone. It's $5. It's a great time killer. It's got leaderboards. I really like it. I mean, that's all I'm going to say about it. I got it for I got it for my gold coin. So now it's like my palate cleanser. Like if I
Yeah.
because I'm streaming Dead Space again, if I get through that, I'm like, oh my god, that was too intense. Then I just throw up Debris Infinity, blast away
Yeah.
for a couple minutes, and kind of let it all kind of go. It's I don't know. It's like zen like for me to play a twin stick shooter like that,
Well,
where you're just dodging the masses of colors and you got the techno beats going in the
yeah, I was
background.
gonna
And
say it's one of those games where you don't have to like you can hyper focus on it because there's so little visual information to have to decipher.
mm-hmm.
You know, like when
Yeah,
you're playing a realistic game, you have to look all over the place and
right.
look for danger. Here, it's just you in the game.
Yep. So I think it's worth checking out for $5. And then, as I mentioned, back to streaming Dead Space. It's October. I started this
Yes.
journey a year ago, practically. It's time to finish it off. So I think Sunday, I originally wanted to do it Saturday night. I couldn't. Sunday afternoon, I streamed a mission. And last night, I streamed a mission here on the Fluxtaposed channel. So I am about to begin chapter or mission 11 out of 12. So I'm nearly at the end. It's clunky. It's kind of hard to play sometimes, but I think it still holds up fairly well. The controls suffer a little bit, and like the button schemes kind of don't make a little sense. But all in all, I think it holds up pretty well still for never playing the game until now. And plus on PC, it still looks great. I mean, it really,
Yeah,
um,
resolution goes a long way to help with.
yeah, the resolution and the textures do well. I mean, yeah, there's some problems here and there, and like the level design is starting to get a little stale with me a little bit because it's very much the rinse and repeat every mission. But
That's what the second game really helps with because it's on a space station. So you
okay,
get a lot of you never go outside obviously or like you never see a forest or whatever, but you do at least see different types of buildings as opposed to dark long hallways of a
yeah.
ship.
Here is a nice lit section. Oh, here's a dark section with enemies are going to jump out of the wall. Like it gets kind of predictable when the jump scares are going to happen.
Yeah.
And I had an instance last night when I went through this corridor or this section that I had to like use my powers and slide all these shelving units around. I was like, it's purposefully making me stop and move them around so I can get through this next section. I was like, this just sounds like remedy for bad things. And sure enough, one of the big bads that you fought in the game that regenerates shows up and chases you, and you have to like kill him. And then while he's regenerating, slide and navigate, and um, just annoying a little bit. But I have to say, like, it's still fun. You know, I still have really enjoyed the game. Um, I don't think I've had any issues with it. I had that one bug that one time when I very first played the game, I couldn't get through. But otherwise, I haven't had any problems except that I had used Origin. That's my biggest problem is I had to use Origin.
That's
And I
always a
think
problem.
the only part of the games I've really struggled with is like those sections where those weird like snake things grab you and start dragging you down the hallway, and you have a limited time to kill it before it drags you
Oh
into
yeah, I
its
forgot
its
about
nest and
that.
kills you because it's just so hard to aim, and then each time it turns it throws your aim off to the other side of the
Yeah.
screen, and it just like the thumbstick sensitivity is really poor, so it's really hard to line those up. I died like last on Sunday night. I died like 3 times in a row trying to get through that stupid thing,
Ugh.
and then I finally did. But otherwise, I'm surprised I haven't had too much difficulty with the game. Like I've kind of got an issue where like ammo, I was running low on ammo, but I had so much credits. I was like, well, I'm just gonna buy a ton of ammo. But you kind of get the feeling the game's like you need to use this gun because like it was like throwing like I don't even know what the weapon is, that one that you have to charge up to shoot. I don't know
I
what it
don't
is, but
remember that one.
it's very powerful. But it kept giving me cell after cell for that. I'm like, okay, I guess the game really wants me to be using that now instead of I always want to use the line gun. The line gun's just it's my
It's
bay.
OP.
It's so good. It's so good. But I really enjoy it. I'm gonna be kind of sad when it's over, but like I said, I got Dead Space 2 waiting for me, so can always jump into that. So that was everything from me. And guess what? We even got a little community grab bag tonight.
Boy.
Our friend Grouchy Surge from the Backlog Busters, that wild and crazy man out in Las Vegas. I'm sure you know him. He sent us an article, and he was hoping to talk about it on his show, but they only record monthly, so he wasn't going to have a chance until way too long to do it. And so he sent it to us to cover on our lovely show. And this comes from Woodworking Network. Yeah, interesting website. I don't ask me why. And this is woodworking industry news somehow. But headline: murdered man's corpse found after tree grows from a seed in his stomach. Yeah, you can't make that up. So, coming from Cyprus, the body of a Turkish man was found who was found to be murdered more than 40 years ago on the Mediterranean island of Cyprus. Was recently discovered after a seed from a fig in his stomach grew into a tree. So he was killed during the conflict between the Greek and Turkish Cypriots in 1974, an event which claimed the lives of more than 2,000 people. So a terrible event, but they never found this guy. And then this a researcher was going through the remains of people missing from the conflict, and this person found a fig tree in the town, and in a mountainous area where they don't usually grow, and he dug up the area, and then he found 3 bodies underneath the tree. And through blood samples and DNA fragments, they determined, that this guy ate the fig shortly before his death, and then the tree was able to grow because of the sunlight there. And crazy. I mean, wow, you can't. Wow. What do you think, Lucas?
Well, I think it's a little weird to say murdered man's corpse, but I'm not familiar with what happened, but it seems it doesn't really explain who he was or what happened or anything. But
I'm sure if you search this somewhere else, I mean,
I didn't even know that could happen.
I don't know what this has to do with woodworking still,
because a tree grew, and then they were like, "We need clicks. Nobody's coming to Woodworking Network enough. We need clicks. Get that murdered man."
Right.
I mean, I guess if you're
a side note, I'll say the Committee on Missing Persons in Cyprus has been searching for people who disappeared during 63 and 74, and they found 890 people that identified so far.
Holy cow. Wow.
And Callow sums it up. Grouchy is weird.
That's weird. I mean, I guess it can have. I guess you can grow anything out of your stomach if the body around your skeleton rots far enough.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Maybe we just need more bodies in my backyard, and then I'll have grass. Jason, I need you to eat this grass seed. Don't ask questions. Just eat it.
Okay.
Why am I holding a knife? I said don't ask questions.
I'm good with that. I'll do it. I'll do it now.
Good.
Thank you.
Good.
So, Grouchy, thank you for sending it. As always, we accept all weird news here on Fluxtaposed. Apparently, the community grab bag is now the weird news section, because that's what we usually do, and I'm okay with that. So
what was that from? Oh, it was 6 Sad News. That's right. From
Daria.
Daria, thank you. All I could think of was.
So if you see a news article that you want us to see, please send it to us. We'll hit it up. And before we go, next week we're going to be talking our top 3 RPGs. Arpagas. So if you want to send us a list of yours,
is it JRPG or is it ARPG or is it Western RPGs or is it?
Now you sound like PSVG.
Tabletop
RPG or is it an adventure game?
Well, you have an inventory. Any game with an inventory is an RPG.
I want to punch you in the face so bad right now. So we'll put out a Twitter blast. We'd love to have your lists to share. And as always at this time, we want to thank all of our patrons. Please hit up patreon.com, Fluxtaposed. 1 year in the making to be as awesome as these folks, because we got to give a special thanks to our arbiters of awesomeness, Kevin Austin, Kyle Heyman, Edwin Callow. He's here in the chat. He's in California.
He made it. You made it.
He's a man of mystery. Tyler Rowland, he just showed up to hear his name being said, I think. Tom Servo, and our executors of excellence, Josh Barboni, Dan Anthony, and Siri Renee. As always, we thank you guys for your support each and every month.
Yes, we do.
And that is going to do it. This episode will drop on Wednesday for all you audio listeners. You guys watch live. Thank you for being here. Again, follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/Fluxtaposed. I will appreciate it. And with that, Good night, everyone. See you next week.
I accidentally hit the OC remix instead of the after show.
Great warrior. Why'd you do that?
Because I'm stupid.
You are stupid. I need a new co-host. Accepting applications, new co-host, Fluxtaposed. Send it to jason@fluxtaposed.com. Accepting new co-host applications. Again, that's jason@fluxtaposed.com.